Hello, everybody. Welcome to Now That's Love with your favorite mother daughter duo.
Yes, where you get to know thyself, love thyself, and become your most authentic, best version of yourself and end up healing too in the process.
Yes, because the greatest love story you are ever going to tell, my darlings, or my man darlings, are with yourself.
Yes. Today we're tying in the Four Agreements book and
Today's all going to be about
doing your best.
always trying to do your best.
Yes. And so, from our last episode, your best will depend on whether you are refreshed in the morning or tired at night. Your best will be different when you are happy as opposed to upset or healthy as opposed to sick under any circumstances. Simply just do your best, and you will avoid self judgment, self abuse, and regret. So, that was kind of like what we talked about, the habit loops, trying your very best to do the habit loops, but there are going to be circumstances in your life that you can't be hard on the fact that you're not building another ring around your habit loop because, like Ashlyn has spoke, that being pregnant or being sick or different things might
Hmm.
change a little bit,
Might
but
impact it. There's
you
things
can
that
get
come up
right
in
back
your
on
life.
board. Like
Yeah.
Ashlyn had talked about, she did yoga before her first trimester, and then she got out of the sickness, and now she's back into it. But she's not going to be hard on herself because she was sicker than a dog during that time. So
Yes.
it's having compassion, no judgment, self abuse, and regret. So,
Yeah.
anyways, we want to move on into some parts of the book, and it's doing your best means to take action. You can have many great ideas in your head, but without action upon an idea, there will be no manifestation, no results, and no reward. Do your best and take the action because you love it, not because you expect a reward. When you take action without expecting a reward, you enjoy every action and you can even receive greater reward than you imagined. And so you do your best when you're enjoying the action or doing it in a way that will not have negative repercussions for you. You do your best because you want to do it, not because you have to do it, not because you are trying to please the judge, and not because you are trying to please other people. So,
And to tie this all in with school for me and just teaching, I think if you're a fellow teacher or your kids are in school or you have been in school, which should be like most of us, that we have all experienced. Like I taught kindergarten for a little while during my student teaching. And the kids came in bright eyed and just ready to learn. They were so excited. And then sadly, they started just wanting that reward of a grade or being smarter than the kid next to them. And it's, I blame a lot on standardized testing. I don't think standardized testing should be a thing. We're all great at different things, and just to judge all kids based off of one particular test. Some of us are not great test takers, and some of us are not the best at science. Some of us are not the best at math, or some of us can't remember, like don't have a great memory and can't do history. That was
mhm.
mostly me. I mean, I had a great memory, but just remembering all the dates, like come on. Like we're going to remember all the freaking dates from like, the
Well,
beginning
the
of
purpose of
America.
it, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm already letting go of the past and I'm only five. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It's like I'm
Why
literally
history
not.
now?
I mean, history is
No,
important to learn
it
just to
is.
not repeat, but I think that's important to remember. Like, don't do something from the reward. Just enjoy the process of it, enjoy the learning. And that's something I learned even just recently. I just barely graduated. Whoop, whoop. I graduated on the 11th of May. So if you're listening to this, bloop, 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 pop a bottle for me. Um, like, it was just something that I even had to experience while I was doing school because it was always the reward of, oh my gosh, am I going to get 100 on this? And if I didn't get 100, I'd be so hard on myself. I can't believe I got an 88. And Jerome's looking at me and my mom's looking at me like, that's great. you're you're going to live. It's you did a great job. And it was just always expecting like that perfection out of what I was doing. And then now I'm just like, okay, yeah, I got the cupcake reward of getting my degree, but I can honestly say I thoroughly enjoyed my journey doing school. I'm so glad I had so many people messaging me during my master's degree, bachelor's program, and like I'm stressed out of my freaking mind, and I'm over here like, I mean, I get it. I had moments where I'm not gonna lie, there was moments I was crying in the bathtub because it was very overwhelming. But at the same time, I really enjoyed the learning process. I'd call up my mom or just even take notes because I love learning. First of all, I just enjoy it. That's why I got my degree in teaching. Duh. But I just would love learning new things, and I enjoyed it. So it's like whatever you're doing, make sure you're enjoying the process. Even Edgar Tolle talks about that in the new Earth.
Right.
Just whatever you're doing in the moment, are you doing it out of enjoyment, or are you doing it because you have to, or you want the reward, or you want the acknowledgement from other people around you? If you're not doing it for you,
Or
kind of
even out of
silly.
guilt. You're doing something out
Hmm.
of guilt,
I love
right?
that.
Yeah. That's so good, Ash. Thank you. Let's move on to the next one. Your own body is a manifestation of God, and if you honor your body, everything will change for you. Practice giving love to every part of your body. This will plant seeds of love in your mind, and when they grow, you will love, honor, and respect your body immensely. Now,
Hello, welcome to Now That's Love.
right, this is me working in the fitness industry and the health
Yeah.
industry for so many years. Uh,
Mrs.
I,
Holistic Coach over here.
yeah,
Loving it.
they many of my generation, say if you're 35 or older, there were so many magazines that were stick figures. And
Hmm.
we had our mothers, many of us that I've worked with, oh my goodness, most of us that we worked with, our mothers had us on a diet or were telling us not to eat this or that when we were little. Teenagers especially, and here we're just coming into our womanly figure and body, and it's like, don't eat that peanut butter sandwich, it's going to go straight to your hips. And not holding on to that resentment they did, or that, that story.
They did what they knew.
They
Reality is
did
the
what they
result.
came from, like we talked about the mirror, the projection, and different things. And there actually for me was immense compassion when I walked through this with my own, what I grew up with. And then also that I in my own room had visuals of all the models hanging up. That was my wallpaper. I'm going to look like this girl from this
Farrah
magazine and
Fawcett.
the Glamour magazine. So, not knowing any better, we did what we did. And then stepping into the fitness industry, and literally on stage, they judge for the physique, to pull in this or pull in that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I had stepped so deeply into the critical mindset of my own body. I had wired my brain to never really be enough, no matter what, that I was on a 4-page spread in a magazine or all these photo shoots and different things that are really, looking back, were just beautiful moments in my life. But to get there, and the stories, and then the whole cheat meals and all the different things, there was a whole entire book I had to go burn. And I probably took about 3 months of meditating, of honoring my body. Like through the meditation, I started looking at food differently. Where, what is this going to do for me? Really, truly, how is it going to make me feel? Am I going to be sad? Is it going to make me anxious? Is it going to make me feel energetic? It wasn't any more about shame or guilt because I ate something. It was more about, does this make me feel alive and joyful? Not just in the 10 minutes I ate it and then all of a sudden, crash. It was more about my energy centers, which I will go into later, that are real. Um, they give you life force energy, your intuition. So
Hmm.
the prana. So just walking this relationship, I told myself I was going to give myself at least 3 months. I didn't really want to give myself a timeline, but I really wanted to commit in my relationship with my body. So looking in the mirror, loving all of me, loving every bit, because we're programmed. We get in the mirror, the first thing is like, oh my gosh, look at my face, or my arms, whatever's that day. And
Yeah.
that's so terrible. It's so socially acceptable, but it's abuse. Let's
Yeah.
be really real about it. And it's so needs to come to a stop, an immediate stop, where we're just okay where we're at because we're doing our best in the moment each day. It's such a big part for me now where I just want to show up and be alive. Ash and I have talked about this so many times. We are for sure not going to be on our deathbed, and I'm not going to say, "Oh my gosh, Ash, I'm so glad I have my body so hot."
Oh
I'm so
gosh,
glad I have
yeah.
all this. I do want to take care of this vessel with everything in me. I want to make sure I'm doing my very best to take
Yeah,
care of
it's
this vessel, to
important
be
so you can
clear
take care
mind.
of everything else around you and
Yeah,
yourself.
it's so important, but to judge it and to know that it's a journey and it's a walk and there's no destination, I feel better than I've ever felt before. And
Well,
it was a
well,
walk though.
watching you walk through that journey, I noticed that even while you started gaining compassion for yourself, and I've walked through a similar journey as well, whenever I started being like, I was so hard on myself. Like, I was extremely hard on myself, especially. Just always wanted everything to be perfect around me and expected perfection around myself. And even, like, I cried after getting my bachelor's degree because I didn't really even celebrate. I was like, what's the next thing? And it's just like, it's sad because I didn't get to like actually milk in the moment. It was just like that constant survival mode that I was in. But that's why now with graduating with my master's, I was like, I'm gonna soak this all in. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be jumping through the air. But me and you learned compassion for ourselves, and then here we go again on the mirror topic. With now we are able to together we both self compassion for others around us and realize that others around us are trying their best just as much as we are, and we're like,
Right. So
oh, okay,
silly.
so I shouldn't be so hard on Sally for saying this or doing this because, hey, like, they're just trying their best too on their path.
Yeah, we're all doing our best, and there's things that we can do to really make it so we can see the fruition of our efforts in our mind and our thoughts and doing our best. And so I have little things around the house. I have things on the mirror
I
that
remember you had sticky
remind me.
notes.
I do. Sticky notes. What's one thing you appreciate about yourself today? What is one thing that you're so grateful for? Just walking down the different things. But so as a woman, it gets programmed in us and men too, they want to be buff and have muscles. And why am I so skinny? I need to gain weight when they're teenagers because they see there's the selection process that's human bred in us, and we're all trying to do our best, and all of a sudden you see like this one person guy that you really like and he's picking this person that's 20 pounds lighter. It must be that, right? Or it must be
Yeah.
this. And so we get these programs of like I can't, I'm not good enough. And
Hmm.
in reality there's plenty of other beautiful humans that we would be compatible with and also be able to evolve with in a beautiful relationship. And
And it
so we
shouldn't
don't have
matter
to
on
be a
your
certain thing.
external anyways. Like,
No.
I feel like if work on your internal before you start working on your external, because you're going to work on your external. And I mean, obviously take care of yourself health-wise. It's so important. But I feel like it's not pretty to have a beautiful outside and not a beautiful inside, because then
Yeah.
you're just going to just base all your self-worth off of what people tell you. Oh, you look amazing,
That's why you
great
can
job on your
crash.
body. And then
Mm-hmm.
what if all of a sudden you get hit by a freaking semi truck and you no longer have your body? Did you build anything
My
internally? Did
gosh.
you have anything that you don't have anything to offer at that point, like, besides, well, I worked really big on my muscles, or I got my hair's not perfect anymore. It's just I have always I feel like I wasn't the ugly duckling in middle school. I think I was pretty. But I had a lot of girls that were saying hurtful things. And so I didn't feel like I was. And so what did I learn to do? Like all us little ugly ducklings out there,
Mm.
which none of us are ugly, we're all beautiful.
Mm-mm.
But I learned to gain a freaking personality. And I partially, my best friend and I did not know when to shut the hell up, but she loved me and I loved her, so that's all that really mattered. But I learned to actually work on myself and not find worth finally after, especially after high school, worth in what other people were saying to me, because that comes and goes. People's words come and go, but if you're not believing that you're the bag of chips and the shit and the rice and beans, I don't know, wherever you're at, then it's pointless. You don't have that.
I I remember walking up to my mother as a teenager, and also I got a poem from my grandma, and kind of at the same time frame. And I asked my mother if I was beautiful. Now I have a teenager mind, so when she said, "Not there's anything wrong with being a teenager. Like teenagers are awesome." So when I said that, um,
It's just rough. We've been
but
through the
you
rough
right,
patches.
yeah, you're just kind of bounced so many ways. And I said, "Mom, am I beautiful?" And she's like, Janae, really, what matters is, are you beautiful inside? And so I thought, wow, she doesn't think I'm beautiful. I took it so harsh, but she was right. And then my dad added to that later on. He said,
Sorry. That's just funny.
if you were in a car accident, who would be around your bedside, and who would be
Uh,
there and to empower, like
what
to
would
be
they
with you,
say
to
about
support you.
you?
Yeah. And I thought about that so often, that if, say, you were in a fire in your home, or burned, like all these different things that we hold on to the exterior so much,
And just your
put
material items.
so much value in it, but really it's a beautiful body that protects us and loves us and keeps us with the breath. And it's just not about to the size and the different things. But my grandma, what I wanted to add is, she sent me a beautiful poem, and this is about doing your best. And
Mm.
at the end of the day, we are the ones facing ourselves in the mirror. We're the ones that have to know. We're the ones that know what secrets we're hiding. We're the ones that know the impeccable with our word. Are we? What are we assuming? What are we really doing our best? Are we living in integrity? What are? What is it? And so I kind of took it a step further, probably when all the reality TV shows came out, to help myself show up in a more authentic integrity way, just because I wanted to do this for myself. Was I pretended like I was on a reality TV show. I
Yeah.
That they were just following me around at all times. And would I be talking about that person being on camera? Because you
Mm.
see how they do it, right? And then all of a sudden they're in a fight at the restaurant or whatever.
Oh my gosh,
So
yeah.
I was thinking, oh, I wouldn't do that. And then I wouldn't be saying this to myself. I probably wouldn't be sitting on the couch eating this whole bag of chips.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have this whole thing of Oreos if I was on camera right now, because I'm all by myself. I mean, it was reality TV in my mind.
Well, it's kind of like what
But
I
that's how
mentioned
we
in the
can use it.
previous podcast too, about how would you speak to others as if they were in the room, or what truth are you telling yourself? Are you keeping these promises to yourself and others?
Right.
It's a
Integrity.
major thing. I
Doing
mean,
your very best with integrity is such a heaven here on earth. There's so many things that you release by having integrity and doing your best, right?
oh, it's
There are
so
so many
true.
things you release because you're not watching your back because of something you said. You're living your authentic self. And so the people that are meant to be in your life are already in your life, and it's beautiful energy. And even if they tell you a certain thing, you take it as a valuable, like, oh, you know what? Thank you for giving me
And you're not
your
so hard on yourself because
side.
you know that you're doing your absolute
Just
best no
doing your
matter
best.
what. Like, if you slip up and do something or say something, it's like, well, I'm not perfect and I'm going to own up to that. But I like to add like a little, I love to add little techniques that you can do or little tips. And for doing your best, there was something cool that my friend asked me to do for her. She asked me to um, she asked me, when is a time that you've seen me at my absolute best? And, obviously, if someone asks you that question, you're like, well, I wonder what other people think, like, have seen me at my absolute best.
Mm.
So ask, like, your dearest friend or your husband, wife, partner, mom, dad, siblings, anybody in your life that, are going to be actually really truthful and kind and come from a truthful place where they're not critiquing you, but being just, this is when I've seen you at your absolute best. And I think this is actually what I want to do in our girl group that I have, is have everybody like write something about everybody in the group. Well, even just little things like, when have you seen me at my absolute best? Well, I've seen you at your absolute best around your kids, or I've seen you at your absolute best whenever you're super passionate about that activity that you're doing right now. And I love seeing things from other people's point of view. I know that we said that sometimes it's just best to focus on, all that matters is your internal thoughts. But at the same time, it's kind of nice to see, like, okay, I'm doing my absolute best. What do others, like, the best people in my freaking life,
It's very interesting when you
think
get
about it?
feedback on it. It's very interesting.
So interesting.
Seeing other people's paradigm of where they come from, and I did it in my coaching where I asked all my clients, different questions similar to that, and to get the feedback, I'm like, wow, that's how they see me, because I would absolutely didn't see myself that way. So,
Yeah.
and everybody was very different, and it just, so like we said, people's reflection of themselves too gets poured into what they find important in their life and they see in you.
Yes.
So that's beautiful, Ashton. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I felt like that was just such an amazing thing, just to, even just whenever I was receiving feedback from my professors. Like, like, just recently I turned in my research paper, and I was so nervous. It was a 22 freaking page research paper. I took over 24 hours on that project, probably more, with just the observation hours that I had to do to visit these certain locations for my research. And I turned it in, and I told Jerome, I was like, she's only going to pick like max 2 people in her thing. I was like, I did my absolute best, just to tie this all in together. I did my absolute freaking best on this thing. And I learned something from it. I learned it was about humane education and just the things of going to animal shelters and going and picking up trash in my community and visiting school board meetings. What's happening in my community? How can I contribute? And I was able to reflect on that for my research. And I was like, I don't really know. I've tried my best. That's all that matters. And to be honest with y'all, I was just so happy to be done. So I was like, submit. This is my last assignment that I'm ever going to do. And I had no expectations at all of what was going to happen. I just knew what I turned in, and I was so proud of it. And she messaged me back, and she's like, "You've always been my exceptional student." And just to receive that feedback, I was like, I was in tears, like, even just talking about it. I was like, oh my gosh, like, because I try so hard on all these little things I do, like being a mom. Like, I'm one of those people that I do something and I go full force freaking effort into it. This is a pen, this isn't a knife. Full force into it, and to receive that feedback from her, I was like, oh my gosh. And then she's like, I want you to be part of. Let's submit this into being published for Social Studies and History Journal of Education. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got picked to do this. This is such an amazing opportunity. I messaged her right away. I was like, sign me up. Let's do it this summer to get published. And I was like, just all the 4 agreements. It's like, I didn't make any assumptions. I tried my best. I
Impeccable with
wasn't
your word.
yeah, I was impeccable with my word. I really truly put in some really hard effort into this. It was Everything I wrote was
It's written.
truthful.
I was going to say it was
Yeah,
written.
it was
Your
written.
word.
My words, yeah, you're right. And I wasn't going to take anything personally if I didn't get accepted. I did my best, and that's all that mattered. If I didn't get accepted, I would have been like, that's okay. I'm still graduating, and that's a great too. But the fact that I had the opportunity, and I will be published, y'all, for 2 times. I'll be a citation twice. Woo woo. Also, check out our books on Amazon. Ashlyn LaFleur and Janae LaFleur. We got some amazing journals out there for y'all to
Yeah,
do
we
these. Write
do.
down your tips and daily tasks and
Brain
agendas
dump.
because us teachers and coaches, we love taking notes and journaling and calendars.
Journeying's awesome.
But it just felt so amazing because it was just like that cherry, that whipped cream on top of my ice cream for
So
graduating.
proud.
And
Yeah, so proud of you.
I was just, I talked to you guys about my experience with finding out I was pregnant with Malay and just feeling completely at loss of what I was going to do. And I just found something, and the college that I'm at now, and it's so true. I know this is a tad bit off topic, but just remember that if your plans are starting to change in life and you're just so lost right now, know that the best thing it's gonna come. I didn't think that my life was gonna take this path at all. I didn't think I was gonna get pregnant and have to change colleges, and I'm just so proud to say that like everything worked out for my greater good. It really truly did. I
Mm-hmm.
got to reach different heights that I never thought I could reach. I wouldn't have been able to have been published without my amazing professor that I have now, or be able to get my master's because I was just focused on getting my bachelor's, or just finding these depths within myself of love, and while doing it being like finding the love for motherhood through it all. I was just like,
Mm.
it was such a beautiful or with Malay 3 year journey, 3.5 year journey of doing this all. And I'm so grateful for him because he freaking pushed me to, whoo, man, there were some days I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I want my kids to look back at this someday, just be like, my mama did it. My mama did this with me, and this one right now did this with me, and I was in her belly, and I am just so proud to say that I'm officially graduating, and we're gonna attach all the journals and publications below. But it's just with doing your best, guys. It pays off. It really pays off with every little thing that you do. Just take it day by day. Don't look so far in the future because I did that. I looked so far in the future
We don't have
and had my
control of
whole
the
life.
future,
You
right?
don't. So just take one day at a time, and I know that there's moments, and whenever I say everything happens at its divine timing, it's funny because sometimes whenever you're just in such a shitty place, it doesn't feel like you're supposed to be there. But I hope in a year from now, or even if you've reached that destination, comment below and let me know your story. Let us know your story because we love hearing all these divine timing stories of
Right.
where we're divinely meant to be and enjoying this experience. We just love y'all so much. As you can see, I cry about how much love I have in my heart for what we're doing, and just sharing our journey and sharing our coaching tips and our courses to just be the best you. You're already the greatest you can be, but why not just see the heights that you can reach? And
Yeah, no
we're here for
fear.
y'all.
Yeah, face the fear and run on that little thing like we talked about in
Yes,
episode
yes,
7. So much love, and thank you, Ashlyn, for sharing that. And as a mother, I know that I've taught you to be proud of yourself because that's where it really matters, is always being proud of yourself. But I do have this, always so proud of all your accomplishments. And I mean, I've walked with you along this
Oh, I know. That's
journey.
like the best part. Like I
It's
just
been
remember you
beautiful
being
to
there.
watch
You
you.
were on the phone through many tears. So,
Well, all 3 of my babies, if I know my boys will probably listen to this, I just you've all done
oh,
it
they're awesome.
from your own souls, your own. I mean, we had little tidbits, but I really feel like I had such beautiful divine souls come into my life to be mom too. So,
Yes.
Lots of love to you, Ashlyn. So proud of you. This Mother's Day coming up.
I know. That's another
Um,
thing too. It's been so amazing because I've got to share love with Jerome and I for our anniversary on the 7th and then graduation on the 11th of May. So love for myself, and then I get to have my love of motherhood on the 12th of May because of Mother's Day. And I'm like, this is my week, y'all. Like, I can't drink, but I can raise the roof. I'm
I
lit.
love you.
I love
I
you.
love you so much. Right? Oh, I love you.
I love you
So
too. Thank you guys for
we,
joining us.
yes,
Subscribe,
thank
follow.
you. Peace be with you and much love from us to you,
Now that's love, baby dolls.
babies.